do you think, or how can we, I assume you agree that it's important to have a way to do research or a way to increase knowledge in industry as well? Or should it be placed outside of industry, outside of the company that you work with?
I believe that everyone wants to live a meaningful life. One of the things that I think make a life meaningful is if you go to the Maslow's pyramid or hierarchy, is self-actualization.
Okay.
Yeah, which means that you're constantly looking to develop yourself.
Right.
Now the question becomes, who is responsible for that? Should it be the state? Should it be your company?
Right.
Or maybe you should personally take some darn responsibility for your own personal education.
Yeah.
And I think that you should take some own personal responsibility. And I was mentioning that I work with 3 different types of PhD candidates. One of the groups of PhD candidates are people that have a full-time job, that basically start to do research on their own time outside their job, using their day job as a place where they do data collection.
Yeah.
And because of the European or the Dutch system, I can then, because in Sweden this doesn't work because you need 60 credits and you need to spend 80% of your time.
It's time limited or whatnot.
Et cetera, et cetera. And what I now have is, because I have a part-time appointment at a university in the Netherlands, I then take people to the Netherlands, and basically once you have enough publications, and we put that together in a PhD. And now people here in Sweden can say, oh, but you didn't get the 60 credit points. No, we didn't. And to be honest, if I look at my existing PhD students that aren't going the academic path there, I'm actually not sure how useful those 60 credits are. But that's a personal opinion.
But very good opinion in my view. So thank you for saying that.
So I mean,
but still,
so in that context, these people take personal responsibility. In the cases where I've been part of that, because I've done, I think, more industrial PhD students I've promoted than academic PhD candidates. Yeah. The employer of these people have virtually always supported these people in giving them a small percentage of their time or helping them out in other ways in order to make this feasible. So I think you own the responsibility of developing your skill set in the areas that you want to grow and develop. And then it's the job of the employer to do within reason what you can to support those individuals, because those are the thought leaders in your company.
Yes. Now, potentially, let me go on a disagreement path here.
Of course. I'm Dutch, we have a saying, if 2 people in the same room have the same opinion, one of them doesn't have to be there. So
in short, of course, it's. I agree that we should take personal responsibility. I agree that employers should also give that freedom. But is that sufficient then? I mean, normally for a person working at some company, whatever company it is, they have a lot of responsibility to be able to, as efficiently as they can, complete whatever project they're working with. And they also have a lot of pride in being able to do that to the highest level of quality they can do. Yeah. And then if someone says, and I've personally been trying to enforce in some way that you take 20% of your time to do personal development or do stuff outside the normal type of project that you're working with. But to my experience, that's really hard to get people to do if you give it or you leave it up to them to decide, because that basically means that they will take that extra time that they should take for personal development and instead put that into the project you are otherwise assigned to just ensure that they can deliver that on the highest level of quality. And if that's the only level of responsibility that the employers have and say, well, that's their choice. They chose, even though we gave them the freedom in some way, but they still chose to not take it. That's not our fault. I don't think that's sufficient in some way. You see what I mean?
I do. Let me share one story with you. At Intuit, we introduced the concept of unstructured time.
Yeah.
So you could spend 10% of your time on, we preferred innovation, but it could be anything that you wanted to do. It could also be educating yourself. Right. It could be fixing something in your team or in your context that really annoyed you and the company didn't want to prioritize. Some tooling issue or whatever. And everyone in the company had access to that. We found that at Intuit, only about a third of the people actually took that opportunity.
Right. Same experience as I had.
Yeah. And now the question becomes, what should you do with the other 2/3?
Yeah.
My experience is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah. So, and maybe, I mean, if you're a new grad coming out of university, starting at a company, just your day job is actually enough development for you at that point in time.
Sure, I can buy that to some extent. But if you really want to have lifelong learning for people that have worked there for some time, it's easy for people to get stuck in some way and don't do that, right?
Yeah. But then the question becomes, whose responsibility is it to get unstuck?